Breaking right now, a bombshell new report has revealed that Queen Camilla has banned Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from the royal palaces forever. This is quite astonishing, actually. And it comes at a time where Charles is looking pretty good. Have you seen this hilarious footage of him?
So, apparently, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are officially persona non grata at the royal palaces. No tea at Sandringham, no balcony waves, no Christmas lunch. Done. Finished. Locked out for good.
Playing a carrot. It's going to be a very tumultuous couple of years for the royal family. Charles's health is clearly not good. So we're going to get lots of analysis from this from Queen Camilla's biographer, Angela Levin, in just a moment. She takes a lot of issue with some of this reporting. But first, I just want to take you through it. So it's from Radar Online, who say cancer-stricken King Charles's deathbed orders have been revealed, with Queen Camilla's brutal power grab also exposed. And they write, anger-stricken King Charles has dropped a deathbed bombshell, decreeing that headstrong heir Prince William is free to banish his bratty brother Prince Harry upon assuming the throne, if he agrees to give widowed Queen Camilla the run of the palace and its purse. Sources say the ultimatum is one William can't refuse, and now the pompous Queen is plotting a ruthless power grab during her ailing husband's final days. According to tipsters, Charles made the bold move to ensure that after he's gone, William will treat his stepmother with respect. A high-level palace source claimed William, the eldest of the monarch's two sons with late ex-wife Diana, has managed to, quote, make nice and work alongside his father's former mistress. The courtier revealed most people believe he's still harboring a lot of resentment towards her. Now, you remember Harry infamously called Camilla dangerous in his scathing memoir Spare, and even accused his stepmother of sneakily slinging mud at him and others behind the scenes to bolster her image. However, William hasn't uttered a public negative peep about social climbing Camilla, who wed Charles in 2005. Insiders have long claimed William has never forgiven Camilla for her role in his parents' unhappy history, and is especially resentful of how her decades-long fling with his philandering father pained his mother. The courtier explained the way Camilla betrayed their mother has not been forgotten by either of Diana's children. William is more diplomatic than Harry, so he's tried to disguise his resentment. Sources say William cold-heartedly cut Camilla's sister Annabel Elliot from the royal payroll last year, and that is true, of course. The insider claimed William is already showing a ruthless streak. It's no wonder Charles worries he's unlikely to find a place for Camilla in his new order. But according to spies for Radar Online, Charles has now guaranteed his sweetheart's fate after he's gone. Camilla feels untouchable, so she's cementing her plans to have her pick of the monarchy's property, a full staff at her beck and call, generous clothing and travel budgets, and access to her favourite jewels. Two sources say Camilla is also making it clear she doesn't want to see Harry or his American wife Meghan Markle on palace grounds ever again. Sources suggest Charles, who has been battling an undisclosed form of cancer for over 18 months, is fading fast, but the king found the fortitude to purchase the property next door to Camilla's favourite vacation home in Wiltshire, England for $3.8 million, and according to moles, the transaction was part of protecting his wife's future interests. So, the biographer of Queen Camilla and Prince Harry, our royal mastermind, Angela Levin, joins me now. Angela, I will give you right from the start. Clearly, this article from Radar Online is written from a very anti-Camilla perspective. They haven't moved on from a lot of the issues that people had with her in the past. And look, I'm not going to lie, you know I've had a lot of those issues. I've sort of moved on from them because I think she has been a really good queen. What was interesting to me here, though, Angela, is this idea that William, once he is on the throne, clearly with Camilla's support, seem like they are preparing. And remember, Radar Online isn't the first to report this, but they seem to be preparing to thrust Harry and Meghan out of the royal limelight altogether. It's not unusual, is it, that the Queen will be treated incredibly well if she does out-survive her husband. And we obviously hope we're talking 10, 20 years in the future, Angela. Of course, we hope that. But Charles is really struggling with his health at the moment. The Queen Mother obviously lived for many decades, was treated very well. Is your understanding, by the way, that Camilla will become the Dowager Queen, because that is legally how she's meant to be referred, or will there be another plan put in place?
And according to Radar Online's drama-loving insiders, this wasn't just a Charles decision. It was William and Camilla joining forces to say, enough. This is where it gets spicy. The report claims King Charles, who's been quietly battling cancer for over 18 months, allegedly made some deathbed arrangements. His supposed deal? When William becomes king.
Well, I mean, I can't think of anything that is completely not. There's so much I said is completely not about Camilla. I mean, she didn't want to be a queen. She wanted to stay with the person she loved. She is a country girl. She didn't want to wear smart clothes. She liked to go out in a t-shirt and tracksuit trousers. But she's not interested in all that. She didn't have a career. She wasn't interested in all that. She just wanted to be with the man he loves. That can be possible, you know. And to say the things about her are exactly the same as the things they said when Diana died, and after a year when they moved in together, that she was so awful, and they would throw things at her and actually be incredibly horrible. Now we think for the future. I mean, she's nearly 80. You can't believe that she would like to work very hard. She works her socks off at the moment because she wants to be with Charles. She wants to do as many engagements as she possibly can. She wants to do good. And I don't think she wants to do anything with that. I think she'll want to be with her children. She wants to be with her grandchildren. And she will relax a bit, that she would like to stay with certain charities, like the one where the woman at the home is actually attacked so badly, and also about literacy, which she goes all around the country, all around the world, talking to people, because she believes if you can read, you can do lots more things than if you don't. So I don't think she's going to ask for much. She will be also deeply, deeply unhappy that she's lost the man that she's loved and that they've only been married for 20 years. I think she'd love to be married much longer because you can see how happy they are. So to be so violently negative about her, I think that's really ridiculous. I spoke to over 100 people who were her friends, who worked for her. All the people that work for her stay a very, very long time, not like Meghan, who go after, 1 minute. And they like her and they think she's so marvelous. And the other thing about her, they say, how has she changed? She hasn't changed. The thing about her, she's changed. She's just the same as she always was, because she doesn't want all the glitter and stuff. But Charles wants her to wear all the glitter, so she does wear it for him. So she'll go back to her t-shirt and tracksuit trousers and won't feel so bad. She'll be with her horses and with her dogs. So it's just completely wrong image of her. I think she's really a wonderful woman, and she treats the staff very well. And if they're not well, or they've got a child who is suffering from something behind the scenes, she helps them and sorts things out. She really is an extraordinary person, because having come from no career, she's done a tremendous amount, and she's very good with people. She's one of those people, the more you talk to her, the more you like her, because she's very sincere. She's just herself. And I think she's a great model for older women, that you don't have to have special stuff on your face. Doesn't mind if she's got wrinkles. She wears things that the king likes, the color and the style. And actually, you are you. You don't pretend to be anybody else. And that's it. And I don't think that she would want to try and get houses. I mean, she wants this, she's got this house, which is for her, because she thought she would get it so that if ever anything happens, she'll be safe. So she's got that very nice house and a lovely garden. And she hasn't, and the reason that King Charles has got a place next to her is that it's been redecorated, this second house, for weddings. So they wanted to do it for weddings, and they could have lots of dances there and all that. Now, she didn't want to live quite like that, because it's the same route path to her house as it would be to the next one. So you don't want people like that. She'd have lots of people looking after her there. It's very difficult. So Charles has stepped in, bought it, and will make it in a different way. He won't sort of live there much, but it will be his, and he will make sure that it's done nicely, and so that would be all right. She would be safe. As for the Camilla's sister, it's not a spiteful thing. Annabelle Elliott, she did a lot of interior designing for Charles. But now, after the Queen Elizabeth has died, William wants to have things done in a very different way. I can't imagine that a man of his age with a beautiful wife like Catherine, who is quite old enough to know what she likes and doesn't, would want to have the same interior designer as his father. So, they did say to her, would you mind, this is the end of this, and we'd like to get on someone else who's got a different way with a different style. She wasn't upset about that. I mean, it's perfectly normal. You don't stay on with the same people for years. Once you're different and old enough to do things for yourself, you might do them. And another thing about William, and does he hate Camilla? He did a bit, inevitably. I think any child doesn't like the woman who comes in and takes their mother away, and it's very difficult, especially in this awful end to it. But one of the reasons he does not like her is that she helped Catherine to understand how the whole royal family worked. And she would take her out for lunch and they would chat away because nobody helped her. She was just left alone. And they thought that this would be, she wanted to help her. Meghan was offered the same thing, but she said no, just no. And that was the end of it. But Catherine found that it was very helpful. The protocols, some of them are silly, some of them important. And she told her that. It was difficult for William because he's lived there. He doesn't know how difficult it is to absorb it. But Camilla, met her a lot and they became very close. So William was very happy for him to do that and to help Catherine. And Catherine got on with her. And they often go and see art together. They're both very interested in art. And they sneak there sometimes with Charles, sometimes together. And they do like each other. And so William, obviously, she's not his mother, but he does understand that she's very caring. And he can see that she's very, very good for his father, which is also important.
If this really is a wait until Charles is gone plan, it shows William is patient and strategic. Right now, Charles' fatherly instincts are probably tempering how harshly the Sussexes are treated. Once William's in charge, that emotional tether may be gone, and the band could become even more final. William's new lawyer choice fits this narrative too. By moving away from his father's team.
No, I've found that absolutely fascinating, actually, Angela, and I think it's really good to put that other side. What I think is interesting to me is that it does sound like, and we are hearing this increasingly, that there is going to be a future toughening in terms of the royal family's position with Harry and Meghan, but it probably will not come. And I know this is a morbid thing to talk about until the death of the king, and we obviously hope that is going to be a long time in the future. And what I think was interesting about this piece from Radar Online is it seemed to suggest that Camilla is actually allied with William in terms of the need for there to be tough treatment on Harry and Meghan. That does sort of make sense, doesn't it? Because, when Harry came back the day after the cancer announcement, and it was Camilla who was in the room with Harry, and she only allowed Harry to spend, 23 minutes with her father. And that was not done in any cruel way, but it was done because she was trying to protect King Charles from the stress of these inevitable conversations with Harry. So I could sort of imagine William, and remember, William and Catherine and Camilla were the three main people targeted in Spare. And William and Charles have actually become a lot closer as a result of Harry's behavior. Do you see what I mean? So in a weird sort of way, it's actually been Harry and Meghan that have actually sort of, I guess, brought William and Camilla closer together in some ways, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And the thing about her, she didn't want to have a position there. She hasn't wanted to. She's been very, very careful not to be a stepmother or to try and be a mother like, a normal mother. She's not trying to do that. She's never done that with Charles as well, sort of take over an engagement from him because she could do it better. She does her own thing. She's found what she wants to do. And it's the same with William. She's very respectful. And the only reason she would have said that to Harry was that, if you have cancer, the last thing you want is someone to come in and shout and demand that you apologize to Meghan. I mean, I think it would make anybody feel ill. And so that doesn't happen. And I think she's the only one who could say that. An aide couldn't come in and do that. But if she sees he's upset or he doesn't look well, then she should just say, well, I think it's time that we went now. Well, that's not being nasty. That's not being difficult. Harry is not coming to apologise, and certainly Meghan isn't either. She doesn't want to come to this country anymore. And I think that she just wants to be there to look after him. She's motherly towards him, but she wouldn't dream of taking all that was happening and make decisions. She does not do that. It was very clear that she doesn't interfere with anything that he wants to do, but she does try to make him do a bit less because it's tiring. But it's all done with good faith, and they know each other terribly well, and they argue, of course. That's not a bad thing. And if he didn't want to do that, he would just say that to her, and then they'd laugh and they'd be very close again. But it's a very natural, loving relationship where they both feel completely easy. She said to me that the one thing they really love is to be in Scotland, sitting in a room with a fire and both reading and being very peaceful just with together. And I think that's a lovely image for the two of them.
He's signaling that he wants more control, more independence, and perhaps even more willingness to revisit old wounds, including anything connected to his mother's legacy. This whole thing is a mix of genuine family tension, palace image management, and good old-fashioned media exaggeration.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Now, Angela, speaking of Princess Diana, a fascinating story has emerged about the fact that Prince William has hired Diana's divorce lawyers, Mishcon de Reya. Now, this is particularly interesting. Here's the reporting from Richard Eden, which explains it quite well. When Princess Diana was beset with worries in 1995 that she would be killed in a staged car accident, she voiced her fears to the man she trusted most, her lawyer, Lord Mishcon. His firm, Mishcon de Reya, handled her highly acrimonious divorce from Prince Charles, which was finalised the following year. After the princess died in a car crash in Paris in 1997 alongside Dodi Fayed and driver Henri Paul, Lord Mishcon Pastors contemporaneously typed up a account of his meeting with Diana to senior Metropolitan Police officers who put it in a safe. But the note was not passed to French authorities investigating her crash for 6 years. So Lord Mishcon died in 2006. What is interesting is Eden reports in a remarkable turn of events, Prince William has now turned to Diana's lawyers again. The heir to the throne has instructed Mishcon de Reya to act for him and his family in a break with tradition because he's previously been represented by King Charles's lawyers, Harbottle and Lewis, in particular its partner Gerard Tyrrell. William wanted to strike out on his own, a source told the Daily Mail. He did not want to continue using his father's lawyers. It's as simple as that. He wants to be his own man. But William's decision is being seen at Buckingham Palace as the latest example of his desire to follow a different path from that of his father. I should just point out here, Angela, because you know I'm always very honest about any conflicts of interest or any of that involving me now that I'm in the independent media. I was previously represented by Mishcon de Reya. They were previously my lawyers for many years, but they are not anymore. What did you make of this?
Well, I think that obviously it would cause a trouble at the palace because it's a very unusual thing. The royal family stays with the same set of lawyers for decades. That's actually what you do. But he's changing lots of things. We can see that. And he wanted to go to a different company and make his own mind up. you can see what he's doing now, in so many directions. He wants it his way. He doesn't want to naturally follow what his father did. He wants to make the decisions. And I think that's fair enough. And some of them people won't like them, and some of people will. But this is something that he wants to do. And maybe he wants to investigate more about Diana, because he put in hiding a letter that she said that she felt she was going to be killed by a car. But I don't know whether that has any heaviness or not. But he feels he wants to go to a set of lawyers who understand how the royals work a bit, and be with them. I think it's all about being himself, being what he wants to do, taking the responsibility. If he has all that responsibility, he wants to make the decisions of all the things that are connected to that.
Yeah, and I understand that. I would also say, based on my previous experience, Angela, they are very good lawyers. They are probably the most expensive lawyers in town. But, William now has an income of something like £20 million a year.
Yeah, money's not a problem.
No, money's not a problem. And they're a very modern firm as well in their thinking. And they'll be ruthless. They will be utterly, utterly ruthless on his behalf. And we've seen that when William is particularly, passionate about a case, for example, when Closer magazine in France published those topless pictures of his wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, something that he viewed as an egregious breach, because obviously they were on private property. Yeah, but they were on private property, weren't they? They weren't on a public beach. They were so at that point, even though there were probably many people, Angela, telling him, "Oh, look, just move on," he wouldn't. He saw it right through, and actually won in that case. And with a case like that, that's where Mishcon de Reya will be incredibly aggressive.
Radar's deathbed deal makes for great tabloid copy, but Angela Levin's calmer view reminds us not everything is a conspiracy. Still, it's hard to ignore the shift in dynamics. William stepping up as a clear future leader. Camilla's become more accepted than ever, especially by Kate, and Harry and Meghan are increasingly isolated. Whether or not Camilla's actively pushing for the ban, she benefits from it. Fewer public spats, less drama, and more protection for Charles. If you're in Harry and Meghan's shoes right now, the writing on the wall couldn't be clearer. The door to the palace is closing, and this time it might be locked permanently.